What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing a video about Unraid. So Unraid gives you the ability to run any OS from in a virtual environment with pass-through GPU, USBs, or NVMe's, SSDs, things like that. It is very well rounded, well built, very easy to use. And I would love to thank Unraid for letting me have a key to be able to get this out to you. So we're going to hit download, and you have a download for Windows and for Mac. And I'm just going to start this up, and we're going to just drag and drop this in here. Once that is done, we're going to open it up, and we're going to, I'm going to show you how to set up the USB. So click here, close that down, hit open, and well, we're going to enter a password. Now, I don't have a USB available that I can use because I am currently myself running on Unraid, as you can see right here. That's how I'm running Mac OS, and this is my VM. So instead, I'm going to show you how to set this up. You're going to stick to stable. You're going to leave this at default. You're going to hit customize. You're going to allow for UEFI boot. You're going to select your flash drive. Okay, let me make this very important. This is going to wipe the thing. So remember, make sure it's one that you can spare because this is what Unraid runs off of. And then you're going to hit write, and that will write the image to the USB and you boot from it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and boot from Unraid. Okay, so what you're going to want to do here is boot that SanDisk Extreme 01. Now, finding a way to get this menu is a bit hard. It depends on your vendor. Usually it's F12 for F11 for me. Sometimes it's F2. Sometimes it's F12. So make sure you guys look that up. That way you're going to be able to get to this menu. But for now, we're going to hit enter on this SanDisk Extreme. That's the one we flashed to. Then we're going to hit enter on Unraid OS, not the GUI, Unraid OS. Once we've done that, you're going to see this pop up in the lower right-hand corner, and then we have to wait. So the next part, you're going to see this. All you type is ROOT, so root, and hit enter. And after this, we're going to move on to dealing with the web GUI because that's where everything happens. So we're in the web GUI. So we go to tower.local/. That's how you get into the GUI. Now, it might take a little bit of time to be able for it to boot up to get there, but it should be instant the first time once you enter root. Now, this is the registration page. You'll come here to register your drive, your USB, if you've bought the license or if you're doing the trial. And without this, you're not going to be able to do this. So make sure you register for the trial or buy the product. Next, we're going to select our disk 1, which is my ADATA 480 gig. And this is where all the information is going to go for the VM. So if I scroll down, there's a start button. You're going to hit it. But if it's fresh for you, it's going to ask you to format. You're going to hit a little box that says, yes, I want to format. And then you hit the format button again. And then you can hit start. That is very important. You will lose all the information on that drive. So just make sure it's a commitment for you. I recommend buying a cheap 128 gig SSD for this. Okay, so now we're going to edit flash. What we're doing here is we're replacing the append line with a longer one, and you'll find what I replaced it with in the description below. There will be a guide. This just allows for things to work a little bit better and so on. I haven't looked into the details of this yet, but it's needed for Hackintoshing on Unraid. I know that much. And after that's done, you can go back to main, of course, and hit start for the first time. Start the array. Feel free. It is going to take a little while to start up, and that's completely fine. That's normal. This thing is running off of a USB, but when it's done, you're good to go. And next, we're going to go down, and we're going to need to reboot this to apply this new line. So just do that, and we'll be back once the system is done booting. Well, we're up. It's booted, and we're going to go to the bottom once again and start the array. If you want, it's up to you, of course, but we can obviously set up what we're going to do next without starting the array. And after it's started up, we're going to head over to settings. We're going to go to disk settings, and we're going to set this to yes. Now, it's going to work set to yes for you, but unfortunately for me, it doesn't like me very much, so it's not going to automatically do it for me, okay? And that's one of my little bugs that I have going on my side, but I'm sure it won't happen on yours. So we're going to go to Tools, System Devices, and these are your IOMMU groups. All right? So we're going to grab out of here GPU, GPU audio, and your USBs. Now, if you look closely, one set of my USBs right there is blacked out. That's the isolated Unraid. You need to isolate that into a group all of its own, so make sure nothing else is in there. Now, I clicked my NVMe, and I scrolled down, and I'm about to click my GPU farther down. Now, if you don't have more than one SATA group, you cannot push through an SSD, unfortunately. And that sucks. So I recommend using NVMe over anything because they are always separated into different groups, okay? Now, down here at the bottom, you're going to see I got my GPU. I'm going to click that. The GPU audio, I'm going to click that. And then all the rest of my USB ports down here, I'm going to click that. You're going to notice there's a bug. It's going to say Linux Foundation 3.0 root hub and 2.0 root hub. That is a bug. You can ignore that. That's actually just something that's not really there. So once we're done bind it, go to main. We're going to go to the bottom of main, and you're going to hit reboot again. And then we're going to move on to configuring the VM. So the next part we're going to be setting up is, of course, the VM. Now, I already have my VM right here, so I'm not going to touch that. That's currently on. It's what I'm using. So we're going to add a VM. It's going to be FreeBSD. And, of course, we need to switch to Forum View. That's this button up here. We're going to name this macOS, my bad. And we don't need to give it a description. That's completely optional. So let's talk logical CPUs. First off, this is your CPU. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, that's all 6 of them, right? And these are your threads on the outside. So 6, 8, 10, 7, 9, and 11. We're going to be giving this thing for 0 and thread 6. That way, it has enough CPU power to run properly. And that's giving it the bare minimum. Now, I have 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm going to be using 12, giving the rest over to, well, Unraid so it can run properly. And that is needed. So if you have 32, do the calculations. It only needs 2 gigs. So it should be pretty straightforward. Now, for USB controller, we're going to do 3.0 QEMU XHCI. For VDisk, we're going to hit none. And for VNC graphics card, we're going to actually select our graphics card. And same thing, we're going to select the HDMI audio. And we're going to pass through these devices, okay? And on-click Start VM after creation, because we're not done yet. Next, we're going to click this, okay? And we're going to hit Edit. We're going to go into XML view. As you can see, this is now populated. And we're going to scroll down until we see topology right here, line 37. And we're going to delete line 37, so gone. We're going to go down to clock offset, local time. We're going to grab multifunction from here. Okay, so copy this. We're going to scroll all the way down to where our video card is. So this line right here below vFIFO is my graphics card. I'm going to switch it from function 0x0 to 0x1. I'm going to hit space after this. And I'm gonna paste multifunction right there. So that's great. That works. Next, this is our audio, our HDMI audio. All right, this is another thing we're passing through. Right now it's on bus 4, but if you see, our GPU is on bus 3. So I'm going to switch this to bus 3 as well. That way it's one device. And after that, we're going to find devices down here. I'm going to hit enter to create a new line. And in here, I am going to be pasting something from my guide, okay? And copy that. And we're going to just Windows V, because this is Mac OS. And I'm going to make this all fancy like that. Why not, right? So it says that it's Apple's property, whatever, Apple AMC, SM BIOS, Type 2, CPU, everything we need to fool this thing into thinking we're running an Intel CPU. I'm not. I'm using Ryzen, so this way there's no patching and no other things, okay? And after that, you're going to hit update. When I hit update, I'm going to get this because I already have a VM made, but you won't get this, hopefully. And if you do, some of your devices are conflicting and you need to figure out what also is using bus 3 or whatever bus is in your case, okay? So I'm going to hit cancel and I'm actually going to remove this. And that's it. That is setting up the VM to be able to boot macOS. Now, the next part takes part in a live environment of Linux. So grab another USB, put whatever live environment of Linux with a GUI that you have, and boot from that. We're going to make what is called a recovery USB. Okay? Now, this is a really annoying method, but honestly, it's the easiest thing to do. And it ends up having the ability to reinstall a full version of macOS, into this Unraid so that we can boot from that. All right, so we're going to be booting from a USB next. So let's move on to that, shall we? All right, so getting everything working and set up for the recovery USB that you're going to boot from, we start on Linux. Now, I'm on Arch Linux. You can use whatever live USB you want. I like using an actual install. We're going to download the release of this because we're going to need what's inside. So, as always, we're going to extract here. We're going to hop in the folder. We're going to go into Utilities, and we're going to go over into this magical guy right here. And in doing this, we're going to right-click and open up Terminal. Very important. Next, we're going to run this. So we're going to paste this in here. And it's going to download basesystem.dmg, and it's going to grab another file after that. Okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to grab is gpartit. I like using gpartit to do everything related to making a USB. So that's good. And we're also going to install one more thing. It's called DMG to image. So we're going to go and install DMG to image. What we're going to do is we're going to find our USB. And instead of doing it their super complicated, annoying way, we're going to find our USB through gpartit. Okay? So stick with me on this. This is it. This is my 29 gig USB. Right now it's dedicated to Arch. And I want to format this to FAT32. But I also want to create a new table, right? And I'm actually just going to undo this. We're going to create a new partition table, and it's going to be GPT. Where is that at? We're going to hit apply. Now, this USB always had issues with me, so I don't know if it's going to work right off the bat this time, but I hope it does. So let me do my thing. We're going to hit new, and we're going to make this 1,000 megabytes. We're going to call this EFI. And we are going to set this to a FAT32. Hit add. And that's it. Now, again, this thing really hates me, so I have to hit ignore multiple times. And is it going to let me do what I want? No, it's not, because this still thinks it's there. Okay, we're just going to unmount that for one. Okay, and I'm going to try that again. So FAT32, please, and hit apply. Thank you. Now, click on the partition again. We're going to go to Manage Flags, and we're going to hit Boot and ESP. Once that's done, bam, you've got yourself a bootable UEFI. Okay? Well, that was pretty easy, don't you think? It's a lot better than going through some super overcomplicated guide. And the best part is you know exactly what your USB is. You don't have to do anything funky. Well, let's go and mount this USB. So this is a program called Disks. It's kind of like Disk Utility. And I'm going to click my partition and I'm going to hit play. And here it is. This is our EFI. In the guide, in the description below, you are going to find an EFI that allows you to just boot right away, okay? It should work on all Ryzen systems. Okay, so I'm going to do you guys a favor. I'm going to move this to trash, and I am going to be giving you my EFI. Why not? Because you know what? It's probably going to be a whole lot better than nothing. And feel free to use my system, my serial. I don't really care. That never bothered me. So you can check in the description for that. It'll be a Google Drive link. And that should make things a whole lot easier. But at least you know the setup for the EFI, its folder structure. So EFI, got boot, inside's the boot. And, you know, this stuff, texts, apparently I don't need this. And this isn't used either. That's not used. I can delete that. And I can delete that. So not bad at all, huh? Nice and clean. Great. So we have this, and now we need to go back to the Dortania guide real quick because we have to drop in one more thing. Okay? And make der Apple recovery boot. So click here, new folder, paste. This is what it's going to be called, com.apple.recoveryboot. Hit create. And inside, we are going to be dropping this and this. Okay? Paste. Just like that. And for the rest of it, we're going to be doing this. Paste that. And it's going to tell you 5. Okay? And that's the partition number we're going to be using. So it goes like this. Paste that here. And of course, as you saw, we were using partition 5. So we're going to replace this with 5. Okay? And as for this, we're going to be using exit out of here, create new. Okay? And as you can see, HFS Plus is unfortunately out of there. So instead, we're going to open up a new window. Yay, HFS Plus. And we're going to be installing, what was it? Something about Pogs. I forget the name of it. Not rescue, right there, number 6. Okay, this is Yay, by the way. It's very easy to install. And let it compile. Password, and it's installed. So what we can do is we can hit cancel, exit out of that, type gparted again, into your password. We're going to go back to this USB right here, and we're going to hit new. We're going to make it HFS Plus, and we're going to name it Recovery. Okay? Then we're going to hit add and apply. Now, it is SDF2. All right? So, /dev/SDF2. Just like that. Now, it's going to take a second to make this, so just bear with me here a little longer. I know this guide is ridiculous, but it's all dependent on the speed of your hardware. If I had a faster flash drive, this would probably be a whole lot easier. Is it actually doing anything? Let's see. Yeah, it is. Good. All right, so we're done, and you're going to hit enter, and it cannot create. Really? Is it because it's missing, or what? Let's see, just to make sure, it is SDF2, and there it is, partition 5, blah, blah, blah. SDF2. That should be correct. Wait. It's 4. That's why it cannot create. My bad. I read the wrong one. It still can't do it because I'm not using sudo. Apple free. So sudo. And password. So this is going to take a while. Sit back and it will be done in 5 minutes if you have a slow drive. Okay, so the minute you hit start on your VM, one of your screens, 2 of your screens, or if you have 3 like me, should pretty much light up. And if you have the USB in a port that's injected, it should automatically display, and you should have options like the one on the screen right now. And you're going to automatically go into the recovery and install macOS from there. Now, from here, I have to leave it into your hands because it all really depends on you. So good luck. All right, it's done. You have a bootable macOS recovery USB that will allow you to reinstall Big Sur as a whole. And honestly, installing it from here is up to you because installing macOS is simple. You boot from the USB, you get to the installer, you need to go to disk utility and just format the drive as APFS, exit out of disk utility, you go to the reinstall part and select the drive you want to install macOS on, and that's it. It goes from there. I wish you luck. Part 2 of this will include me showing off video editing, even gaming on macOS. I know, weird. Making music, productivity, and such. And this is all done using Unraid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. I put a lot of hard work into this for you guys. And thank you again, Unraid, for letting me do this. This is absolutely incredible. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.